Hello and welcome to today's Rocksmith Developer Stream. I am your host and the community developer for Rocksmith, Doug Lilly. Thank you very much for being here today. If this is your first time joining, welcome. I'm very glad that you made it. What we're going to do today, as usual, we're going to have a couple of performances from one of the members of our community. This week, it's going to be Noah Morgan, who is my Noah16 in the chat, stream regular. So welcome. I had a very wonderful time talking to and working with Noah over the past couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to letting everybody see his performances later today. We're also going to have some raffles later on throughout the stream. As normal, it's going to be 2 Ernie Ball prize packs along with 5 copies of a song pack. TBD. And to give those away and to help in the chat today, we have a guest moderator. Brian is out for today, so instead we have another person from the North Carolina office. Today we have UB Yubble in the chat. If you want to say hi, that is Josh. So he's going to be helping us out with the raffles throughout the stream. So welcome, Josh, to the stream. Very glad to have you here. And right now, I want to say hello to our guests today. With us live, we have Jared McAdams and Akshay Balakrishnan. Hello, gentlemen. I say, sure, gentlemen works. We can say that.
I'll take it.
You'll say.
I will say hello once I've unmuted, and
okay,
not a moment before.
That's perfect. That's good thinking. That's good thinking.
That is mic etiquette.
So welcome back. It was pointed out to me yesterday that the last time I had either of you was also the last time that I had both of you. That was not intentional. It just worked out. But I'm very glad to have you both here today.
Two great takes that taste great together.
So I hear. So I've heard. So yeah, last time you were here, we talked a bit about. I think we talked about some bluegrass. We talked about some funk. We talked about composition, if I recall correctly.
All right.
We talked about a playlist that went backwards in time the further you went in on it.
Yes. So have you, and you made that playlist available, Jared?
I think I did.
As a reminder.
It's a public playlist. I have to. Man, that seems like a long time ago.
It was practically years ago. So if I recall correctly, you started with what was the sort of root song, the seed song?
If I recall correctly, it was Buena by Morphine.
That's right. It was Morphine. And then you went back through related tracks previous, like chronologically released earlier than that track.
Correct.
Until you got to, what was the final destination for that?
The end point, I believe, was the Rondo alla Turca by Mozart.
That sounds fun. Have you had any? Have either of you done any further playlist experimentations in the interim?
That ain't my bag in the first place, man. That's super cool to hear about.
Not that was the better part of a day. So sure. I've been doing. I do it in a very informal way. I'll like to create a radio station based on a song in Spotify, and then go until I hit something I don't want to listen to, and then I'll create a new station based off of the last song that I was into.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about playlists for a second, because I've had trouble in the past. I've always wanted to have a music service that is able to recommend things that I actually like. It's been very hit and miss for me in the past. Right now, I've got one that's sort of like nailing it pretty regularly, and it makes me uncomfortable because I don't like it when
when machines learn,
when they know what I'm thinking, because I'm a special person whose tastes cannot be. It turns out they know exactly what I want to listen to. Wow. So I'll take it.
Careful what you wish for.
We can preface this by not a plug, but I am interested in what that is.
Sure. It's just Spotify.
Oh, is it Spotify?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right. They just their recommendation systems have they know what I want, and that's what they give me. And sometimes I have to sort of like remind it that I like other stuff and to go in a different direction. Sure. But when I'm in a certain mood, it can help me down that path pretty easily. Before I forget, if anybody in the chat, welcome, by the way, everybody in the chat. If any of you have any questions for us, any of us here about Rocksmith, about the conversation that we're going to have, feel free to give UB Yubble a shout in the chat, and he will get those questions to us, and we can take some of those questions and answer them a little bit later in the stream. Wanted to talk about live playing again. Who here has partaken in any jamming?
I've tried.
Tried.
I honestly
Okay.
tried. It was but that was also like many years. Oh my goodness, when was that? That was back when I wasn't living in San Francisco. So
It's
it was like
a
6
while ago.
years ago.
6 years
But
ago.
like the studio I was working at the time had like an audio mix room, and we would
Yeah.
just kind of hang out
Get
in
together.
there, bring our small amps, and
Just play.
just
So
noodle. Yeah.
so okay, but through noodling, are you able? And I know I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't give you time to think about this answer before, but can you? What did that provide for you as far as playing? Just the act of playing with other people, sort of on the spot, making stuff up.
There's like a barrier. I feel like I still kind of have this where a barrier to like get over. It's not quite shyness. I guess for me, it's like not being confident in like the skills that I've developed up to that point, skills such as they are. And so especially in that context, it was just me and a couple other friends who like we all had the general understanding that like none of us are playing shows or whatever. We don't have anything to prove at this
Right.
point. So like it felt like a pretty good way to sort of get used to playing with other people. Before that, I hadn't really done playing in a group since like high school. So yeah,
Gotcha.
that was pretty fun.
And was that group, was that a school related group that you were playing with, or was that like
No.
a
That
like
was
a
just a couple of people at work who are actually on the audio team, which is
Okay.
probably why we got the idea to use the audio mixer room
that
in the
checks
first
out.
place. But yeah, man, that was a lot of fun. It's been too long since I've done that. I should start it up.
Right. Well, as soon as we can, everybody's gonna get back to jamming, right?
Heck yes.
Jared, what about you?
Yeah, I do a fair bit of jamming. You know, I do some bluegrass stuff, and jamming is a big part of that. Of course, you know, there are different flavors. You know, if you're going to a bluegrass jam or a jazz jam, you know, there's sort of expectations about the material you're going to be playing through, and things common practices that you're kind of expected to follow, as opposed to just like getting together with some friends and playing like just whatever pops into your head, or just making stuff up, or just playing whatever song somebody knows 30% of.
So
Yeah.
In your opinion, say you and some friends, just hypothetically, you and some friends, you've never really played music with other people in real time, in real space, and you want to do that. You want to get together and just jam and just make some music. What do you need to know going into that situation in order to make it like a fruitful jam session?
Yeah, I think it's good. You know, if you want to play songs that people know, that are familiar songs, and you kind of want to just go through those, it's good if at least one person in the group has a solid handle on the song. It's good if everybody has a solid handle on being able to. If somebody says play a G chord, then you can play a G chord. And something that's really useful in that context is knowing your chord numbers. Knowing if somebody says that it goes to the 6 here, and then it goes 2 5 1, then you can follow those things. That's super helpful, especially if things start to go off the rails a little bit, which happens from time to time. Then somebody can say we're on the 5, and then everybody can get back into it. But I want to say, speaking of jamming with people at work, one of the greatest jams of my life, the most fun I ever had, was the I forget what it was, a snowpocalypse or snowmageddon or whatever, the rain stormageddon, I think it was called.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be this huge crazy storm in San Francisco like 5 years ago, This was when I was a note tracker. Nobody came to work except for the note trackers. We were the only people there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no weather. It drizzled mildly. It was not a problem. But we were like the only people there, and it was close to Christmas time. So we just like sat around playing Christmas songs all day. And it was totally that thing where like somebody would know part of the chorus and somebody would know part of the verse. And we just kind of cobble it together and fake it through the parts we didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was so fun, and everybody there was like good enough that they could hang in the parts that they didn't know, but nobody was so good that they didn't make funny mistakes on a regular basis. So
Sure.
yeah, it was epic and it was fun.
Wow, that sounds great.
I think I have some video of that somewhere. I have to pick that up.
I've seen video. Okay. The video link is in the chat right now. Yeah, this is a few years ago. This is well before Akshay and my time.
Yeah,
around
totally.
there. But
I want to say, but I think as like for when I did those like couple of jam sessions, it was like definitely I had the benefit of being with somebody who knew what they wanted to play and like knew how to like direct people. And I was just playing bass at the time, and so it would just be like, all right, just hit these notes, like just this is the pattern that we're going for, and then we'll start there. If you just keep following this progression, then I'll probably split off at some point and just do some noodling over top of it or something, and like just go with that. And it's like, okay, fine, yeah, and that worked out pretty well for us.
So at least, do you think having one person, Jared, from your experience, is it sort of advisable to have one person who is acting as a guide, or have you seen more success in just sort of letting things feel out, assuming that everybody is of a similar has a similar amount of knowledge theory-wise? And
I think it's great if it's especially if it's being done for fun. If everybody stays aware of what everybody's level is and what everybody's strengths are and weaknesses are, and try to you can keep it at a level. You can play easy songs, you can play familiar songs, or you can just do like a blues jam, which most people can follow pretty easily, just 3 chords. So there's always a way to be inclusive with that. But I do think even in those simple situations, in my experience, it's good if for each round, for each tune, or for each thing you're working on, if one person kind of acts as the song leader. If there's a singer, it's often the singer, but not necessarily. But somebody who's saying, okay, now we're going to the bridge, or now this is going to be the last one. We're gonna end after this one. So somebody who's just kind of herding the cats for each. It doesn't have to be the same person all day. It's like what's really good is like, okay, I'm gonna sing a song and I'm gonna be the leader for that, and then you pick a song and you're the leader for that, and you kind of tell everybody what the chords are and everything. That's helpful.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you both very much. Right now, this is going by very quickly. It is now time. We are going to have our first giveaway of the stream. So we will be back with Akshay and Jared in a little bit. But right now, if you're in the chat live and you want to win one of these Ernie Ball prize packs, please listen to UB Yubble in the chat for instructions on how you can win. If you enter and win, you will receive everything that you see right here. You're going to get 2 sets of strings, 1 6-string set for your guitar, 1 4-string set for your bass, both in regular slinky. You're going to get a black Ernie Ball guitar strap. You will receive a package of Ernie Ball Wonder Wipes that will keep your guitar's strings, neck, and body nicely well polished, lasting longer, and sounding better, particularly in the case of your strings. Also, you're going to receive an Ernie Ball peg winder to help you get those strings on there quicker, and a dozen picks from Ernie Ball, and 3 of the Spectrum Plectrum picks from us here at Rocksmith. As always, we are, as always, meaning as long as we have been doing these streams from home, we are collecting the information, and we will ship out these prizes once we are back in the studio. So we don't know exactly when that will be, but we are holding on to your names, telephone numbers, and shipping addresses so that we can get these packages to you as soon as we are back in the office. So thank you again to Ernie Ball for getting these prizes to send along. once we are able to. And good luck to everybody in the chat. If you win, UB will reach out to you in a whisper to get your name, ship address, and telephone number. As always, we do need all of that information, and we do ship internationally. So just make sure if you're not in the US, you break down your address line by line to make it easier on me. So right now, we are going to hear from our performer for the day with the first song. This is Noah Morgan performing. This time it's a little bit different. Noah is doing all acoustic this time. So he played an acoustic guitar. He was playing disconnected mode, which we've just sort of overlain there. You'll see. Excellent performance. He's been playing Rocksmith for about 4 years, and he's in the chat pretty often. It was definitely a name that I recognized. I know he's spoken up, so this is really exciting. And then after that, we're going to hear some tips about this song from Andrew Levin and some other things you can do with it if you are playing solo. So everybody, welcome to Noah Morgan. That's my Noah 16, and we'll be back live after those segments.
Hi, my name is Noah Morgan, and today on the Rocksmith stream, I'm going to be playing Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce, and I'm going to be playing All the Pretty Girls by Kaleo. And I chose those two songs because nobody's really played acoustic songs on the stream yet, and I very much like those songs. Jim Croce, Time in a Bottle, that album, Nobody Messed Around with Jim, great album. I have it on vinyl. It was my grandfather's. Kaleo, I've been a huge Kaleo fan for 4 years, probably more. Ever since their first album came out, I've loved them very much. No Good by Kaleo was the first riff I ever learned on guitar. It was the reason I played guitar. And seeing them have a song pack in the game is just incredible. They were the first band I saw in concert too, so just very exciting that Kaleo's in this game. And if No Good by Kaleo would have been the third choice, so I could play 3 songs. And a fourth song would have been Far Behind by Candlebox. And a fifth song would have been Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam. And if I could just play every song I wanted to play, I'd be playing Opeth, Oasis, Crowbot. Like, Rocksmith has a crazy library, like Thin Lizzy, Chuck Berry, Reina alla Turca by Mozart is in the game, and that's just a great song too. You and I by Lady Gaga, Christian Woman by Typo Negative, just Take It on the Run. Man, just, they have amazing songs in this game. And I've discovered so much music. I've learned so much about myself, especially with these guitars. I've played so much. It's the game I've played the most. It's just a great game I play almost every day. And I'm excited to see where this goes in the future. And the first song I'm going to be playing is All the Pretty Girls by Kaleo. Thank you.
What up, everyone? It's Andrew, and I just wanted to go over a couple of easy patterns that you can add to your strumming patterns to get some walking bass line type movements like I just played. That was based off of Kaleo's All the Pretty Girls, which is going to be played today on the stream. But you can use this in most folk songs, and the concepts will work into any other key that you want to play in. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first pattern is going to be playing the bottom note of any chord and then the top strings, both with the downstroke, and we're going to play it right on the beat, a quarter note. It'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once you get that together with all the different chords, we'll work on the next part. And one fun thing that you can do if you're adventurous is you can try and see what that sounds like on different chords. If you're more advanced and you have a little wider chord vocabulary, see how it sounds with less common chords. All right, cool. So we got that little strumming pattern down, and the next technique that we're going to learn, or the next little pattern I'm going to show you, sounds like this. And all that we're doing here is we're using the key of C major. The song's in the key of C. We're using the C major scale to walk between the two different chords. So the bottom notes are going to look like this. So 3rd fret of your low E string, open A, 2nd fret of your A string, 3rd fret of your A string. That's based off the C major scale. Learn it, it's useful. Anyways, so we're gonna incorporate that into the strumming pattern. So it's gonna sound like this. You're gonna be going from your G chord, you're gonna play the bottom string of your G, and you're gonna play the top strings of your G chord, like from our pattern earlier. And then, so that's going to be your first 2 notes, and your second 2 notes are going to be open A, 2nd fret of your A string, and then you're going to play the 3rd fret of your A string, but this time you're going to play it with your 3rd finger because you're going to be going into a C chord. So that's going to sound like this slowly. All right, and once you got that down, let's see if we can reverse it and go from C to G. Once you get comfortable with that, try walking between the 2 chords, speeding up a little bit. Cool. And I wanted to show you the walk down from C to A minor, which sounds like this. So we're going to do the same thing with our C chord. C, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open, open, 2nd fret, C. Right? And then we can use that to go between all 3 chords now. So we got cool. Now, if you're a bit more advanced, intermediate, I want you to try and do this without stopping your strumming pattern, and that's a little bit more difficult because you're going to have to hold on with the top of your hand a bit more and let the notes on the top ring out. The more you can make the notes ring out, the cleaner it'll sound, and the more open it'll sound. When you're playing this kind of acoustic folk style, you want that nice open sound. You don't want it to be muted or percussive, right? So anyways, the full strumming pattern is going to look like this: down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, bottom, top, 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 bottom, top, bottom, top, top, top. So in context, that sounds like this. And if you have that strumming pattern down, I recommend you try and find the wackiest chords you can and mess with it. Anyways, I got a little carried away there, but that's okay. Let's get back to the pattern at hand. So if I'm playing this pattern here, see if you can play this while hitting the top strings in between the notes. So that's going to sound like this. And if you are like me and you want to explore and get a little wacky with it, try and find some weird chords. Try and mess with some other keys. If you are still working on your diatonic stuff, you could try this with different open chords. So let's say that rather than your chord progression being C, G, and A minor, let's say that your chord progression is E minor, E major, and then B minor, right? I can use my scales and play the strumming pattern in between. And I always say this, but the most important thing is that you're messing with this stuff, you're making it your own, you're exploring what it sounds like between different chords. This is going to develop your ear, develop you as a musician, and also make it a lot easier when uncommon cases do come up, as they will do. The more songs you learn, the more you're going to encounter strange situations. So anyways, that's the pattern. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you dug it, and let me know what you think.
And welcome back to the live portion, well, a live portion of today's Rocksmith Developer Stream. I am still your host and community developer, Doug Lilly. Welcome back. Right now, I have three things to do. One, I want to say thank you, Andrew Levin, for that lesson, and happy birthday, Andrew Lesson. Andrew Lesson, happy birthday. So close. I almost got through that. Andrew Levin, happy birthday. I don't think you're watching this right now, but I hope you hear it in your heart. Happy birthday. I wish you the best. And thanks again for that lesson. And I want to say that we are going to have our second giveaway of today's stream. Right now, we are going to give away 5 copies of the Blues Song Pack 2 on Steam. That song pack includes 1 Bourbon, 1 Scotch, 1 Beer by John Lee Hooker, West Coast Blues by Wes Montgomery, and Backdoor Man by Willie Dixon. So if you want a chance to win those 3 songs, please follow the instructions from UB Yubble right now for your chance to win. Once more, we're giving away 5 copies of the Blues 2 song pack on Steam. So good luck on that. And right now we are going to take one more look at Noah Morgan's playing. Again, we're going acoustic. It's new and exciting for us. And if you enjoyed the last one, which I surely did, you'll enjoy this just as well. We're going to hear Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle. After that, we're going to hear some more from Dan Amrich. And then we'll have a little bit more conversation with Akshay Balakrishnan and Jared McAdams. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you really soon.
The second song I'm going to be playing is Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. A great acoustic song. I love the lead and rhythm. The lead is very fun, it has a capo on the 5th fret. This song is in a great 70s mix with Peter Frampton and Thin Lizzy. Love Thin Lizzy, love Peter Frampton. Just a great overall pack. This song I really like because it is finger picking, but it taught me how to hybrid pick, have the pick with these fingers and you pick the other strings with that finger. And if I could play more songs, I totally would. I would love to play Crowbot. I would love to play Gary Moore. I'd love to play so many songs. I'd love to play Billy Squire. I love that he's in the game. And I want to say thank you, Rocksmith, again. I can't wait to see what you guys are doing in the future. Hi to all my family that's out there that's probably watching this live or watching this afterward. And go Liverpool. That's what I'm saying. I miss soccer. I miss all the sports. Now, thank you, Rocksmith, again. Here's Jim Croce, Time in a Bottle.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time with. If I had a box just for wishes and dreams that had never come true, the box would be empty except for the memory of how they were answered by you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Hey everybody, Dan Amrick here with another guitar gadget that has somehow found its way into my endless collection. You're probably familiar with a capo. That's the little clamp that you put on your guitar neck to change the key of your guitar. It raises all of the strings pitch at once. What if you don't want to raise all of the strings pitch? Well, that's where the spider capo comes in. This is a capo that you clamp on top of your neck, but it has 6 little hammers, and each of those hammers goes down on a string independently. So you can actually do the equivalent of some fancy alternate tunings, but with the simplicity of just moving 1 or 2 levers at a time. For this example, I've put it on the 2nd fret. The 2nd fret, you can very easily make it into A-shaped chords, right? If you threw down 3 of the hammers, you would basically have this device fret an A while you played completely different short chord shapes above that. At the moment I have it for an A5, so it's just the 2 center strings, which is a gorgeous chord. And why you would want to do this is because then you can play normal chord shapes around that, and you can create things that you wouldn't normally be able to play. So like, that just leads me down a whole different songwriting route than anything else that I would normally do with a capo. I generally like writing with a capo because it makes the timbre a little bit different, the color and the tone. It sounds different, even though I'm playing similar shapes. This takes that completely to another level. You can use each of the 6 string hammers independently, so you can make up whatever crazy tunings you want as long as it's all on the same fret. You can add or subtract any strings to that chord that you're building as your drone chord in the background. I think it's kind of cool. It is a little pricey. I picked mine up used. You might find the same thing. I don't know. But if you want more information about it, there's only one device called the Spider Capo, so it should be pretty easy to find online. If you're looking for something to kick your songwriting in the tail, maybe it's the Spider Capo. I don't know. Works for me. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
And welcome back to the final live portion of today's developer stream. I want to say thank you very much to Dan Emmerich for showing off that Spider Capo. Thank you once again to Andrew Levin for giving us some tips on how to incorporate bass lines into your acoustic guitar playing. And a very special thank you to Noah Morgan for those two performances. And I want to specify that if you heard a delay between the guitar sound and the song audio, that was us, because we reinserted that master audio. And so if it was a little bit off, that was our fault, not Noah's. Just want to let you know. But I want to say hello once more to Akshay Balakrishnan and Jared McAdams, my live guests for today.
Hello,
Certainly
guys.
live. Welcome back.
Still
Mostly
alive.
We're still live. So over the break, we were talking a little bit, and there was a suggestion. We want to hear about your first guitar, your first instrument.
I think
Jared.
I'll talk about that. I have an interesting thing just happened. My first guitar was about as cheap as it can get. It was from the Sears wish book, the Christmas wish book catalog.
Yeah.
And it's some no-name brand that they were selling. I think it probably cost $50 or $60 at that time, which would have been around 1989-ish. And and that was my main guitar. It was horrible to play. It sounded okay, but the action was really bad. It's just really, really hard to play. And I had that thing in the early days where my fingers were hurting so much and it was so painful, and I didn't know what to do. So I kind of gave it up and came back and went through that several times back and forth. But that was eventually I upgraded and got a new guitar, and that one ended up I let my dad use it because he was interested in learning to play. And but over the time he didn't use it that much, and then he ended up getting another guitar. This one kind of got pushed in a closet, and the bridge plate kind of peeled off of it, and it had too much tension on it for too long. It was just neglected, and it just kind of sat there. Well, this Christmas I went back home, and my dad said, "Oh, I got one more thing for you." He goes out and brings out this old, like really crappy cardboard guitar case.
Yeah.
And I open it up, and it's that guitar, which he has taken to a luthier and put $100 worth of work into this $50 guitar.
I love that.
Just as a keepsake. So and I played it, and it was great. It played really well. And the guy who fixed it up did a great job. And I was like, great, now I have a guitar to play, when I'm back here in Tennessee with you guys.
It's wonderful.
So that's my first guitar story.
That's great.
Actually, what do you got?
What do I got? I think I've talked about my first. Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, I think I've talked about my first bass being like one of those combo sets that you'd get at Long and McQuaid in Canada. Long and McQuaid's here too, right? I guess I don't know. It's like, is it a Canadian brand? I don't know. Oh, okay. So anyway, they it was just like I think $100 for like this red bass Squire, I think, and a little small amp. This amp I still have. The guitar went did not weather various moves throughout my life very well.
Yep.
By the end, it was just sort of like all sort of weird and bowed and just could not hold tune at all. But the first guitar that I really tried was actually it was a guitar that my dad got as a gift for my mom, who liked playing guitar and just wanted to learn how to get back into it. But the guitar was like not appropriately sized. It was sized for my dad and not for my mom. My dad's much bigger, and just like it was awkward for her to hold, and so it just did not stick that time. The action was also like super high, and it was very hard to play. So as a kid, you're like, ooh, a guitar. Oh man, yeah, it was real rough. But didn't make me bounce off entirely. I have no idea where that guitar is. Last time I went home, it was not waiting for me in a guitar case. So
it's funny that this question came up this week because just a couple days ago, my mom sent me a picture that she found of me with my first little Epiphone. I'm looking at the picture right now. So this is me at like, I don't know, 12 or 13. This is probably a better way to do this. But there's little 13-year-old Doug with his Epiphone Acoustic.
It's panning away from you.
Yeah,
there I am.
Auto.
I probably
Little
could have
baby Doug.
sent that, but I didn't want it to be on screen for that long. And then my first bass. So when I started playing bass, that was with jazz band in junior high, and I just used a school's PV bass. It was a white PV bass. That's all that I remember about it. But then after a year of playing it, when I was like, okay, I want to get my bass, I ended up getting a 5-string Washburn. WB 500 maybe. I think it's in storage right now. That acoustic I think didn't survive 2 moves ago, so
Yeah.
same thing. But yeah, so yeah, I got a 5-string bass was my first electric bass, which is unusual, but it was the early to mid 90s. So if there was ever a time to have a 5-string as your first bass, mid 90s
real
probably a good
grungy
time
with
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Jared, when you are I'm going to go back to jamming because I like this topic because I didn't get to jam enough when I could go to people's houses and play music with them. So now I'm trying to learn so that when this is all done, I can try to remedy that. When you were playing, and I'm sorry to keep going back to, I know you're not just a bluegrass guy, and actually I know you're not just a funk guy, but I know that you have preferences within these genres that aren't that you're probably bigger fans than most in the studio. Most of the people that we're going to have talking about it. So that's why I'm talking to you about it right now. So no big deal. We're just talking about bluegrass. When you're playing bluegrass, do you tend to find that you, due to the instrumentation in bluegrass groups, is there a not different version of theory, but are you working in different scales more often than you would be with like a rock kind of jam?
There's apart from the instrumentation with any genre, there are going to be musical ideas, musical objects that are used more or less, and that's sort of what defines the genre. So yeah, for sure. In bluegrass, a lot of, especially the classic bluegrass, really sticks to the 1, 4, and 5 chords, as does a lot of rock music and pop music. But in particular, in that old bluegrass music really sticks to those primarily, with maybe one extra chord in there. But when they hit that extra chord, it's like,
It's everybody hear this? Everybody hear this? Do they hang on to that one chord and just like everybody feel this right now because it's not going to last?
Yeah,
And
I mean, the classic example would be that there's a it goes to an E. The Foggy Mountain Breakdown is in G, probably the most famous bluegrass tune. And it goes to an E, and some people will tell you it's an E minor, which would be the chord that comes from the key of G major. And some people will tell you that it's an E major, which is actually what Lester Flatt plays on the original recording. But some people will say that's a mistake, and some people will say, no, that's what makes it awesome. So yeah, but yeah, scale-wise, it's generally pretty simple. You really stick to the major pentatonic most of the time, with the minor third blue note in there. You might think of that as a major blues scale. You're going to have that a lot. You're going to have for fiddle tunes, you're mostly going to be in a major key with the Ionian mode. There's the regular 7-note major scale. But you're gonna have some minor tunes and some Dorian tunes, some more modal Mixolydian, Dorian especially kind of tunes. But that really gets more into like what they call old time music as opposed to bluegrass.
Sure.
A fine
Classic
distinction for most
bluegrass.
people.
I mean, it's a living art form, so I'm sure it's sort of evolved over the decades that it's been around.
Sure,
So-
and it's starting from, especially from the '70s on,
Mm,
there's a lot of influences on this newer bluegrass music. There's a lot of jazz elements and a lot more
Sure.
harmonic complexity, so you can find a little bit of everything.
So if you were to go to like a bluegrass jam and participate, is it gonna be sort of like a jazz situation where everybody kind of has a turn to solo and shine and then fall back? Is that sort of how it tends to work?
Typically, yeah, you're gonna have you're gonna take turns being the song leader. You're gonna call the song that you want to play. There's a pretty well defined repertoire of bluegrass standards, and then you're gonna kick it off, and you're probably gonna take the first break. In bluegrass, we call it a break instead of a solo.
Yeah.
Or you're going to sing the first verse if it's a vocal number. And then, depending on what kind of, if it's like an open public jam that's hosted by like a bar or a coffee shop or something, typically you're just going to go around and everybody gets a turn to play a break on the song. And when you get to the end, you stop. If it's a more informal, backyard jam, or if it's a group of people who know each other better, a smaller group, then generally the song leader is going to give you a nod when he wants you to take a break.
When it's your okay. Cool. And is that, did you play in any jazz bands? Have you played in a band, Akshay?
I haven't played
Okay.
since like
With
high
other
school,
people?
really. So and
And-
like in that like jam session like 6 years ago. It's
Sure.
man, I need to get back
We gotta
into
get,
it. I
we
guess
gotta get back out there, right?
you gotta find, and I'm definitely not at that at the same sort of musical level to like talk about like if you wanted to play something jazzier or funkier or something. I don't know, but like what I remember doing was like yeah, my friend had like a song that he had in mind, and he'd like give me a quick primer on what to play to like
Sure,
just go follow
sure.
along, and like I would sort of move like stray only a little bit from there, but then we'd be like, all right, we're taking a break, not the same break, not bluesgrass break, but I'd literally just noodle on the bass until I had something that formed a nice loop, and then it'd be like, all right, just do that again and do that again and again and again. And then then my friend was musically skilled enough to just sort of go from there, and that was pretty great. I think last year I went to like a barbecue. But it would be around this time of year in Vallejo, and like that was one of them musical barbecues, and like that was so cool. Just like I was definitely a spectator at that point, maybe with a shaker. Like this is cool. This is pretty rad.
Clap along.
Yeah. It's a great.
And I'll say with the shelter in place and everything, that's one of the things I miss most. It's this time of year especially. We would do that, once or twice a month throughout the summer. Is have people over and grill some meat and just play music until it got dark. And I'm really missing that right now.
And it seems like we haven't found a good substitute for that at this point. Just collectively being able to play with other people. I mean, you can send recordings, but that sort of mutually simultaneously composed type of music just isn't really feasible right now, I guess. Which is a shame. But you can there are, and we've talked about sort of recording at home a little bit on recent streams. So there's if you have that drive to create music, to make some music, just record everything you do. You're going to hear something that you want to go back to, that you want to explore, that you want to expand upon, or have that be the crux of a song. And make some scratch tracks. This we're going to get through this. We're going to get out of this. We're going to see people face to face again soon. Those of us who aren't already, and being able to go into these environments, with something like I have this lick, I have this riff, I have these two sections of a song. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's see if there's something there. So I think
I'll tell you what else is get a looper pedal and jam with yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah. Looper pedals I've never had the opportunity to play with one, but there's some people that I know I've followed. I know Reggie Watts is very well
Oh, of
known
course.
for it.
Yeah.
We have Black Horse and the Cherry Tree. I'm so embarrassed right now.
Was that the name of a song or?
KT Tunstall. And then there's that one guy. I think that's the name of the project. Is that one
I think
guy?
somebody just got activated. I don't know if that was
maybe.
the name of a song.
No, I think it's sort of like I keep going back to this kind of contemporary folk idea. I'm sure I'll break out of it again, but yeah, it's he built an instrument, partially analog, partially electronic, just to make the kind of music that he wants to make, and that seems fun. Just you know what you like, make the music that you know you're gonna like, and somebody else is gonna like enough of it to be able to add on to it and make something cool. And that's what I think. So I think that's something we can all look forward to once we get out of here. All of us who've been putting off playing music with other people, now we see we can't put that off all the
Do
time.
what you can, right? Do what you can.
Yeah.
There's still some enjoyment in that as well.
Yeah.
You guys down? You guys down for a jam?
I'm
Three
down.
of us?
I'm down. I'm gonna have a new instrument on the way.
Okay, but you're gonna have to teach me first. So wait, really? I have to talk to you about that after.
Talk about it soon. All right. Well, I think that's gonna about do us. We've got one more raffle we want to do. Before we do that, again, thank you, Akshay. Thank you, Jared, for being here and talking to me today. Thank you to Dan Emmerich, not only for your segment, but also for running the board. Thank you and happy birthday to Andrew Levin. And a very special thank you to Josh, that is UB Yebble, for hanging out and helping with moderation, helping with the raffles today. And of course, thank you to Noah Morgan for playing those very sweet acoustic songs. And we'll have our final raffle right now. We'll see the two of you later. But everybody in the chat, now is the time. If you want a chance to win everything that you see on your screen right about now, please listen to UB Yebble for your chance to win. You're going to get 2 sets of strings, one for your bass, one for your guitar. You're going to get a dozen picks from Ernie Ball, 3 Spectrum Plectrum picks from us. You're going to get the guitar strap. You're going to get the Wonder Wipes. You're going to get the peg winder. All of that can be yours if you enter and win. We do ship internationally. We will ship once we are able to return to the office. Still do not have a time for that, so it could be soon, could be a little bit later. We'll see, and as soon as we know when we'll be going back to the office, we'll try to tell you, or actually probably wait till we're there, just in case it doesn't get pushed back. And so you think something's coming, and then it doesn't. So I'll wait till we're back in the office, then I'll let you know. You'll probably know because I'll be streaming from the hatch by then. But yeah, good luck to everybody. Thank you all for being here. If you wanna check in with us, we are on Twitch. You know we're on Twitch. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Rocksmith Game, Facebook.com/Rocksmith. Hit up our forums, Rocksmith.com. Look for the link at the top of the screen. Let us know what you're playing. Let us know what you're listening to. We can talk about music all over the place. And we also hang out in the Discord. Look for links in the chat to find out what that is. And thank you for being here. We will see you next week. Goodbye from Rocksmith.